What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial here with another movie review. We are once again getting back into the Bad Boys franchise. Bad Boys Ride or Die, as of this recording, is actually already being released in theaters. But I'm going back and talking about the previous Bad Boys films before reviewing Ride or Die. I've already talked about the original Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2. If you haven't seen my reviews for those, check out my channel. It is on a playlist called Bad Boys. But let's not waste any more time. This is the final stop. We'll be talking about the third installment, Bad Boys for Life, which came out in 2020. Let's get into it. So the first two Bad Boys films I've enjoyed quite a bit. I think they're very entertaining action movies. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence have amazing chemistry together. Um, there's definitely some weird stuff with the plot. There's some dumb writing here and there. I don't think that they're like masterpieces by any means, but I do think they're entertaining fun. So it's actually been a while since we had a Bad Boys film. Like the Bad Boys 2 came out in 2003, and like we're just getting a film in 2020. It's been 17 years. Um, it's pretty nuts. I didn't think they were ever going to make a third Bad Boys movie, to be honest. I thought they were done. So it was a surprise when they announced that they were going to make a third film after all this time. Of course, I personally was still looking forward to it because I'm a fan of this franchise. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, is it too late? Is Will Smith and Martin Lawrence? Do they still got it? Like, they are getting up there in age. Will they be able to, pull off the action scenes? Will they still have the same type of charisma? Will the dynamics change because they're older? Will people even care about Bad Boys nowadays? Like, is there still a fan base for it? There's a lot of questions going into it, but regardless, I'm always up for seeing another Bad Boys film with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Because they're so charismatic together and they have great chemistry, not only on the big screen but in real life. So but what seeing from the marketing, it looked pretty good. It looked like it was pretty consistent with the first two films, for the most part, but did feel slightly different. Felt a little bit more modern, which is what I expected from this. And surprisingly enough, Michael Bay did not come back to do this third film. They got two new directors, Bilal Fallah and Adil El Arbi. And I just dubbed those two Adil and Bilal. Um, these two directors actually went on to do a couple of episodes of Miss Marvel, and I really, really enjoyed Miss Marvel. And they actually were supposed to do the Batgirl movie for WB that got canceled, which I feel bad for them. Hopefully, they get another shot at doing a DC project in the future, but it was probably the best move to preserve the quality of DC because it was kind of a mess at that point. But yeah, I'm a fan of Adil and Bilal, and I'm actually glad that they were able to take over this franchise. I think Michael Bay was still producing this film, so he still had a hand in it. But I think it's good to have a fresh new take on the franchise since it's been so long. And then Michael Bay, not too long ago, was coming off of Transformers: The Last Night, and yeah, I was very mad at him. Like I was not having Michael Bay at the moment. So glad we got new directors on here. But and I'm also glad that I was able to see this movie in the theaters before the pandemic hit, because this did come out in early 2020. So thank goodness this movie was able to be released before that happened. Because watching it opening weekend, I got to tell you, I really enjoyed this film. I really, really enjoyed it. It was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I expect it to be bad, not necessarily, but like I didn't know how good this actually would be after all this time. But I actually think that this is possibly the best of the franchise so far. It's my personal favorite. I didn't even expect to say that, but like I really, really enjoyed what they did with this film. Um, Probably one of the reasons why I think this is my personal favorite is that I actually felt more of a soul in this movie than I did in the first two movies. Like, and as far as like the crazy bombastic action, it's still in here, but I felt like they pulled it back a little bit, and they tried a little bit harder with telling a story and actually giving some compelling character development with Mike and Marcus. Like, I think they tried a little bit harder than they did in the first two movies, and that's something I really, really appreciated with this. What I also appreciated is that they weren't trying to pretend that Mike and Marcus were the exact same as they were like almost 20 years ago. They weren't actually trying to pretend like they were younger than what they actually are. They actually played that into the story that these two are getting older. Like they're pushing 50 at that point, and it's like they're not able to do the stuff that they used to when they were younger. They're not as fast, they're not as quick with with the action scenes. Like, they want to actually, one of them wants to move on with their lives. So one of the things I did like is that the one of the things that they set up in the second film is that Marcus wants to retire from being a cop, and I thought that was something that they were just going to like leave it there, and then they won't talk about it ever again, and then like Marcus is just going to go back and doing the stuff that he usually does with Mike. But like, I appreciate in this film that like he actually does want to retire, because like all these years of getting into these crazy dangerous situations, and he's thinking more about his family, and he even knows that he's getting older and he's not able to do the stuff that he used to. So I like that they actually address that. But yeah, once again, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, like they didn't miss a beat at all. The chemistry between these two is so great throughout all these films, and I just like that in this film. Once again, they're giving them more to chew on. As far as it's not just the typical dumb Michael Bay writing that like there are definitely some influences from Michael Bay in here, but it doesn't feel like it's like thrown in your face like every scene. It actually feels more subtle with the direction, and the story feels more focused. But on top of Marcus, wanting to retire, they actually gave a lot of development with Mike specifically. For one thing, they emphasize more that he's an action junkie, and I feel like that's something that was pretty consistent in the with what they set up with his character in the first two movies. It's clear that he is an action junkie. He's first to go into action, and get himself into danger. And in this film, like, they address the fact that it's starting to become a problem, because it's like he actually has anger issues in this movie, and like I said, going through a midlife crisis, and I didn't expect that for his character, and actually gave him a little bit more dimension, because in the first two movies, he comes off more as the playboy, and like the pretty boy, the rich guy, whatever, and like always likes to be stylish or whatever. So it like he pulls off a persona in the first two movies, but I like that in this film they actually made him a little bit more of a vulnerable character. Like, he's not just the invulnerable action star in this. And there's actually a plot point where he gets a near-death experience, and I think that actually helped to bring him down to earth a little bit more. Like, there's actually a conflict between Mike and Marcus, where Mike wants to go after the people that attempted to kill him, and Marcus doesn't want him to pursue that because he's afraid that he'll get himself hurt or possibly killed again. And Mike wants to try and get Marcus out of retirement, but Marcus is, thinking about his family and thinking about his well-being first, and it's like he thinks it'd be too dangerous. So I like that there's that conflict there. I really appreciate them going in more in depth with that, and actually made these characters more three-dimensional. So I thought all that was great. To talk more about Abdil and Bilal's directing style in this, actually they directed this film really, really well. You could tell that they're trying to emulate Michael Bay's like style in this, like trying to make it consistent with the first two movies. So of course you see the oversaturated colors, you see the slow motion sweeping shots, you see the camera angles, all that. They were trying to emulate Michael Bay, but they weren't making it obnoxious actually. Like, this movie is very stylized, but it doesn't feel too over the top and distracting. Now, of course, Adil and Bilal aren't Michael Bay. Like, I didn't not expect them to have the big over the top action that Bad Boys 2 had. And I hear that being like a criticism for people that are big fans of the first two movies. Like, they didn't think that the action like held a candle to Bad Boys 2. And for me, that personally didn't bother me. If anything, it actually kind of helped, because especially with the second film, it was a very bloated movie. It was really, really long. I'm glad this movie is only a little over 2 hours, 2 hours and 4 minutes, when Bad Boys 2 was 2 hours and 27 minutes. So I did not feel the pacing in this film. So I definitely appreciated that. But I still thought the action scenes in this was done really, really well, actually. There's like a car chase sequence with a helicopter that I thought was really, really well done. Like, there's still a lot of good practical effects in this movie. Like, there was great stunt work in here, so I'm glad that they brought that into this film as well. There's also a scene where Mike and Marcus are on a bike with a Gatling gun. That was a really entertaining scene. Um, there's an action scene in a mansion where there's another helicopter shooting at them, and there's like a big, massive shootout with a bunch of goons. That was a really entertaining scene. Another shootout at this drug cartel place, like that was really good. So Adil and Bilal actually did a really good job directing these action scenes, and it doesn't feel like chaotic like Michael Bay style. Like, it actually helped to make the scenes more focused. So I definitely appreciated that. The returning characters, the captain played by Joe Pantoliano, he was really, really good. They actually gave him a little bit of dimension too that I actually did not expect for them to do. The way they were setting up in the film does feel a bit calculated and a bit predictable about what's about to happen to his character, but like, I actually like that they gave Captain a little bit more dimension too, and actually gave a little bit more personal connections when it comes to between the Captain and Mike and Marcus. So I actually like that. They actually come off like they're actual friends outside of work. So I actually appreciated that. Um, Once again, Teresa, Marcus's wife, is in here. I really liked her. Once again, didn't have a whole lot of scenes, but I'm still glad that that you know, she's still in these Bad Boys films. I appreciate that they bringing these characters back. They even bring back Reggie. Like, Reggie's back, even though he's only back for one scene. I just like that these actors all came back after all these years, because I didn't expect them to get all these actors back, but it was good. I liked it, and it was also great to see that Marcus's daughter, is all grown up and actually having a kid. So Marcus becomes a grandfather. So I once again, it just like emphasizes why Marcus, wants to put his family first, and like, I understandably so, why he wants to retire, because he has family to think about. So I really, really liked all of that. And DJ Khaled also makes an appearance in here, and he actually was pretty good in the film. I thought he was going to be, distracting, because like he's a big, hip hop star or whatever. But like, his scene actually worked, and like the scene that he has with Mike actually was well executed, and DJ Khaled actually did a decent acting job. So I appreciated that. Um, the new like cops slash cadets in this film. I was actually getting worried about that when they introduced that like Mike and Marcus was going to train some cadets in this film. Like in the first trailer, the you had that silly scene of the cadets like singing the Bad Boy song really, really bad, and Mike and Marcus getting annoyed with them. And I was thinking, oh, is this how it's going to be throughout the entire film? Like, these cadets being annoying and incompetent with their job. But surprisingly enough, that was not the case at all. Actually, they were actually pretty good in this film. They actually helped to complement Mike and Marcus really well. Vanessa Hudgens and Alexander Ludwig, I thought they both did a really good job. I keep forgetting that Vanessa Hudgens actually does a decent job in these action movies. Like, the last action movie that she was in was Sucker Punch. I wasn't a big fan of that movie, but she actually did a good job in that movie. So I'm glad to see Vanessa Hudgens expanding her, roles and being in like these action movies, like 'cause she does a pretty good job. Um, and then Rita, who is like the new like captain slash recruit of the cadets. I thought she was pretty solid. She was pretty good. They tease some sort of relationship that she could possibly have with Mike. They don't go too in depth with it, but I like that there was some decent chemistry between the two. So there was some cute banter. But yeah, overall, I thought she was pretty good. That she was a good addition with Mike and Marcus. One other thing that I really appreciated about this film is that the villains were written so much better than they were in the first two movies. The first two films, it was just the stereotypical yelling, angry drug lords. Like they both were interchangeable. They just were very, very forgettable. But in this film, I actually really like the villains in this. Isabel and her son Armando. I thought they were actually much improved from the first two movies. I thought they were really really solid. Isabel being like this like witch and like this like psychotic killer, like they actually made her a really interesting villain. And then her son Armando, walking in her footsteps. So I thought their dynamic was really really interesting, and once again has a personal connection with Mike that was very very fascinating. Like they're giving a lot of development to Mike in this film, but that also helped to ground Mike, and not make him like the larger than life, action junkie that he used to be. Like he actually is, taking responsibility for the stuff that he caused to people and himself. So that just gave a little bit more emphasis there, and I appreciate that. But yeah, man, overall, this was a really really enjoyable film. Like I didn't know what to expect from a Bad Boys 3 after 17 years. I didn't think they were going to recapture the magic as well as the first two movies. But surprisingly enough, not only was it as good as the first two, but it's honestly my personal favorite of the franchise. And they do leave it out there that they want to set up for more, and obviously we're about to get Ride or Die. But like after this movie, I was actually open to seeing another Bad Boys film. It's obvious that they got more in the tank, and it feels like they haven't missed a beat. So I'm up for them making more after this, and if they want to make more after Ride or Die, if Ride or Die is good, like keep it going, man, because like the momentum is still strong with this. I thought the character development was really really good. It felt more it felt more personal. It felt more like engaging with the story and the characters that I felt was lacking in the first two movies. I feel like there was more of a soul when it comes to the story. The action scenes were once again entertaining, and while they were trying to emulate Michael Bay's style, like they actually tried to make the action scenes more focused and not as chaotic. Yeah, just overall, this was a really enjoyable film. So I will give Bad Boys for Life a B plus. Really, really enjoyed this film. But those are my thoughts on Bad Boys for Life. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? How does it compare to the previous two movies? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. So, the next one up is Bad Boys for Life. I will be seeing that, and I will give you guys my review. Um, just to let you guys know, I am going to be going on vacation, so you might be waiting a little bit for the review. So I won't be able to post a review until I come back from vacation, but the review will come out. So tune in for that. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified of future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Bad Boys fans, and I will catch you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys.